the spinal twist while laying down. I mean, I couldn't hardly get twisted over at all. Like I'd use my hand a little bit, but the hips were so tight. I could just feel it running right through my hips without even hardly going anywhere.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know if Olivia talked to you about the fascia and the fact that you have adhesions, because you had 7 C-sections, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot. I think the record of, I've seen somebody that had 4, and I thought that was a lot. So 7 is way over the top. So no wonder.
Yes. They were all in 8 years.
They were what?
All in 8 years.
Yeah. They're all 9 and under, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So yes, you've not recovered from one before you had the next.
No, not fully.
So yeah. Okay. So, well, first I just want to tell you, I believe in the body's inherent ability to heal itself. So the fact that we can heal and we can regenerate and we can restore mobility and restore muscles that were once seeming to be not working, it's really amazing. So that could help. The fascia, when you have that many surgeries, your fascia in your abdominal wall.
Janine, you're cutting out some, just a little. Okay, maybe.
Are you good?
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see.
So your fascia is all the white slippery stuff between, like, say, meat. So like if you look at chicken and there's like a slimy material between the chicken, that's fascia. So when there is an injury or a surgery, the fascia tightens up and it literally chokes the muscle. So in many ways, it's not your fault that the muscles don't work right. And then you have complicated things on top of that, being that the hip is tight. The hips get tight because the fascia that got tight in the abdomen goes all the way into the hips. So it's going to be really important for you to mobilize your scar and scar tissue.
Okay.
And that will help your hips too.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know are you set up on a table? It looks like you were on a bed or something.
No, I'm actually on my floor.
Okay. Because I wanted to see how you're moving, and if maybe we could see how you're moving, then we can see like what's going on and why things aren't moving so good. So like, for example, I don't know if you can see me here because I'm on my table. But what you're going to want to do, I want to see how well you can lay on your back and go like this with your hip. Can you see me? Like, hold on a second. I'm still working out the technical stuff here, so Okay, so you lay on your back, and then you bring one knee up on your other, or one foot up on your other hip, and then just drop your leg sideways like that. Can you see that? So I want to know if your hips open up.
Yeah, I can try that.
Okay.
I don't know
what I was doing.
how well this is gonna work for me either. Well, I don't know.
Well, that's a good idea. You have it on the floor.
Yeah. Can you see me?
Okay.
No.
Yep. So perfect. Yes.
And if she talks, you can even, I think, click on her picture and maybe see a big video of her, or if you can see her just fine there. If she talks or something, it'll be big on her end.
Right. I noticed that. When I talk, is it big too?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can see me bigger. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So do the other leg, Amanda. Okay. That one's looser, isn't it?
Yeah, it just popped too.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the first thing is your right hip is probably tighter than your left because there's more organs on the right side. So meaning like the liver. So what happens is you get adhered up under your diaphragm. So the breathing is going to be really important, but you probably can't breathe so good because you're stuck. So you've got to work on what's stuck before your muscles will not be so choked, because right now they're all choked like scar tissue. Does that make sense?
On the right side too is the hip that I jammed in a car accident.
Which adds insult to injury. Okay.
Yeah, because and that was all before I had kids.
Oh my God.
So and it was in a parking lot. When I slammed on my brake, my hip jammed up, and so it'll get a half an inch to an inch shorter than the other.
Oh, that's right. You have a leg length thing. Which leg is longer?
6 months. did like 6 months of physical therapy and
Okay.
chiropractic care and massage therapy all at the same time, and we couldn't get it to relax.
Okay. Which hip is longer?
My left.
Okay, so that's a
Left.
sacrum. Okay, so here's what, I'm going to show you something. So your left leg's longer?
Yeah, and it's only, like, if I get adjusted once in a while, it'll help, but I can't seem to keep it there for very long.
Okay.
So even when I stretch, like, I can see the difference between my feet.
Okay, so usually when the left leg's longer, it's a problem in the sacrum, which is right back here, where this lumbar spine is meeting the sacrum. So it's probably hard for you to bend backwards because the right hip, the muscle that goes across it right here, can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
It's called the piriformis. Your right piriformis is probably really angry. Do you feel like in the deep of your butt, like it's tight?
Yeah, I get a lot of sciatic pain too.
Yeah, because
About
the
a year
sciatic nerve.
I bounced like this off of the ground coming off a horse. So I didn't.
Wait, what did you say before that? I heard the horse part.
I had bounced off the ground, right on my tailbone.
From a horse?
Yeah.
And that was before you had kids? Okay. So you've had a couple traumas leading up to even having children.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, that just compounds it even more. I actually treat a lot of people that fall, and what happens is when you fall on this makes it all tight because your brain is actually really smart, and it's trying to hold your muscles together, and it's making your muscles guarding and protecting.
Yeah.
So it's a protective response, but it's good for what it needs to do, but then it doesn't know how to let go. So, but here's one of the things, if you can see me sitting here, I would try this, is you want to sit with your legs like on something where your legs can hang over, and then you want to take that right foot up, and you want to put the right hand behind your body, and then press on your right knee to open it up while you turn and look over your right shoulder. And what you're doing here is you're doing a self-correction to help unlock that segment right here that's so jammed, okay? So it's great that you had treatment. I'm so glad you had treatment, but if you don't continue to do something for that brain, that like the muscle memory, the brain wants to keep holding it tight, and then you're going to need to keep going back to the chiropractor to have them adjust it, or to the physical therapist. So like my job is to teach you so that you can help yourself.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm looking at, you have a chair there. What else might you have where you can sit?
I have a small couch here.
Oh yeah, that's good. Why don't you sit on that? Let me see if you can do this.
It actually hurts to sit that way for a long time because of my
Right. Right. Okay, so put your right foot up on it. Okay, good. Take your left hand on your knee and then look over your right shoulder. And when you do this, press down on your knee to open it up. Straighten out your left arm. Oh, hello. Hey, Nancy, too.
Just figured out.
Hi, Nancy. We got a baby in there, too. What's her name?
This is Maxine. She's my only girl.
Oh, you have all boys and a girl? Oh, you're the princess.
She's the princess.
This is
Nate? Hi, Nate.
Hi, Nate.
Say Gabriel.
Nate.
Oh, Gabriel?
Wait, you guys are supposed to be watching Lily as grandpa.
We're watching Ruby. What's it go?
Yeah, you're just gonna get him in there.
Oh my gosh. Olivia, does that make sense?
Yes, I'm also recording this, so she has it.
Perfect. Okay,
And then
good.
we can I can just make her a list of what she needs to do and send it to her.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. So try that again, Amanda. You're gonna hold it for 10 seconds. And imagine that you have like a string from your head, like holding you up so that you're really in an upright posture. And when you turn, you're just keeping the weight on both your sit bones. So you don't want to pop up off your left hip as you do it. You want to keep yourself even and then just turn.
I think that's the hardest part.
Yeah, well, that's because you don't have any thoracic motion either, probably, because, you know, your brain is just holding everything tight. Okay, so you would do 3 on that side. Go ahead and do the other side to compare it. So you would do 3 on each side for 10 seconds. How does the left side feel? Is that side looser?
Yeah.
Easier, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so one of the goals is to have your hips open up because your pelvic floor muscles are attached to that, like on the inside. So if you're looking down, straight down into the bowl, this is the back and this is the front. The muscle that goes from the tailbone to the pubic bone is like a sling that goes back and forth. On the side, it's attached to your hip right here. So see this muscle, this red muscle? I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
That is your hip. So if you have one hip tighter than the other, then the inside is getting pulled to one side too. So you want to make sure that your hip mobility is clear on both sides. Symmetrical, yep. So you would do, you know, 10 or 3, and you can do this whenever you want, but 3 on each side for 10 seconds. And I like to do it when I start my day because I still have tightness in one of my hips from one of my childbirth scars. And so my left hip is my tight one. So I do that on both sides every day. And it really helps to open up my hips. And then it primes the core, and then the core can work better when there's not as much resistance from the hips.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed that my back wants to spasm when I do it a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like your knees are high. How tall are you?
Yeah, I'm 5'4". This is a pretty low couch.
Yeah, something where you're up higher would be ideal. Like maybe do it on a bed, or I've even had people tell me they do it at the top of their steps and their legs dangle over the stairs, or like a countertop where your legs are hanging down because your knees are up in your chest. And that's the other thing I would tell you is if you have hip pain, you always want your hips higher than your knees. So like take a couch pillow and put it underneath your hips. So your hips should always, the angle of your hips to your body should always be
above.
Bigger, yeah. And even higher, because that does look like a low couch. So low surfaces are going to be the worst.
What do you think about like half dome foam rollers, like kind of to sit on to kind of tilt?
Yeah, they're pretty firm. That or like a wedge, you know, like something that's like a wedge. That's good too. But I try to work with what people have. So
Okay, yeah.
You improvise with what you've got, and then if it doesn't work, then like if you sat all day at a desk, I would say get one that just sits on your, you know. But that looks good. Yeah, your hips are higher than your knees.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does that feel?
That feels better.
Yeah. Okay. And then, Olivia, did you talk to her about doing like a trigger point release in her piriformis or anything like that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, let me grab a ball. Hold on, I'm gonna step away from my earplugs for a second because I got to go and get a little ball in my drawer. Hold on a sec. Okay.
I'm just taking notes for her.
Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a chart of the back side where your piriformis is. Wait, hold on a second. So this muscle right here, let's see if you can see. So it goes across your buttock like that. And so this triangular bone here called the sacrum needs to be in the center for both sides to be equal, but your right one's probably pulling it off kilter, and then that might jam up your left side and make your left low back hurt too. If it's not just pain in your buttock, if you don't have pain now, you might eventually develop some pain on the left side because the right side's pulling it. So you want to take a ball or something right in that middle of your buttock, and I'll show you what I do. I use something called a pinky ball. You can get these from the dollar stores, but like a tennis ball or a dog ball works really good. you take it and you put it right in the center of your buttock. I don't know if you can see. Can you see where I'm at? And you just kind of roll back and forth until you find that real sharp spot that hurts, like where your sciatic, where it seems like it bothers your sciatica. And then you hold it until it doesn't feel as sharp. And then you find another spot. So it's really, there's two spots in particular that come to mind. Are you having a hard time laying on your side? Like, did it hurt to lay on your side?
No, not really.
That's
it actually
good.
hurts more to lay on my back. And if I find myself like waking up and I'm on my back, I can hardly move because of my lower back being so.
It gets jammed. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the exercise I just gave you where you twist, that'll help with that. But I think it'll help to take the tension out of that muscle. You know, this muscle right here. So there's two spots in particular, one right at the middle point and then one kind of out by your hip. So the one out at your hip is usually the one that gives people hip pain and they can't lay on their side. So that may not be as bad as the one that's like close up, closer to the middle of the buttock. So I tell people just pretend your buttock is like a bullseye. Just go right in the middle and then move the ball around back and forth, up and down, side to side. And see if you can find where it's tight, and you probably will have several spots. That would be my guess.
Yeah. No, my husband likes to rub it sometimes.
Yeah.
On the side, like, I could cry.
Yeah.
He doesn't even
so
have
the nice
pressure. It's so,
yeah.
It's just sometimes it burns and it's like sensitive to touch even.
Yeah.
Because it's so tight.
So sometimes it's easier for us to control it. Like, you can put as much weight into the ball as you can tolerate, you know, so it's also nice because I'm sure he's not home all the time. And when you need it, you need to be able to do something, right?
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
So that empowers you and gives you something to do when your sciatica is bothering you.
Yeah. Cool.
So,
yeah,
okay.
I think I actually have one because I used to do it for my shoulders.
Yeah. When I do it for the shoulders, I stick it in a sock and then I lean up against the wall. And that way, when I lean forward, the ball doesn't go rolling. So you can put it in a long, like a baseball sock or like a long nylon, and then just hold it and then rub it back. So that's really good too.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. So that takes care of the sciatica and the hip tightness. We just took care of two problems. I think did Olivia say that you had some like some stress incontinence too? Is that what we read? Like, do you leak urine?
Very rarely, but
okay.
There are times. I'm trying to think. It's not. I don't know. It's times that I can't even think about it because it's not all the time. Like, I can't pinpoint when it is.
Okay.
Right now.
Which is aggravating because it'll happen when you're least expecting maybe, and then it makes you probably feel like you don't have control over it. So that is a problem. That should get better with what we're doing too.
Okay.
Does she need to know anything about the fascia or scar tissue?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was thinking this as I was driving here today. I probably should have brought like a sock with a seam, but can you see my turtleneck here? I've got like a little seam on it.
Yeah.
You should be able to pick up your scar and move it between your fingers, like roll it like that. Okay, so like skin, you know, you should be able to pick it up and then like move it between. Your scar right now, is it indented or does it have like, what does your scar look like? Does it have an indent appearance or is it like real big and fat, like wide?
No, I'm seriously, he's hungry.
Sorry,
so it's
hang
more
on
than
1 second.
one. Okay. So it's more than, you have two risks of adhesion. So some of the research has said that if your scar is indented and if you have a keloid scar, then that indicates that you have adhesions. Well, we know you have adhesions just after you had adhesions before you even had a baby, because when you fell, you developed adhesions. And a lot of people will get adhesions like from sports, like a lot of female athletes will develop adhesions from like diving to get a volleyball or get, to keep the ball from hitting the ground. And so like I already know you have adhesions, but then you have 7 C-sections that definitely, so your scar is indented for a reason. And so what we want to do is we want to take the scar. I don't know how to do this without showing you my own belly, but what I would do is I would take your fingers and I would pull it up towards you. So your scar is going to be this, it's bikini, right? It's like low scar. Okay, well maybe I'll show you like this. Can you see my belly?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe take your hands on your C-section scar. So lay on your back and just pull up and maybe hold that for about 10 seconds. And then pull up and maybe bend it to one side, you know, so you're going to kind of go up and then this way and then up and that way. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to give it a little bit more mobility, because I'm sure, and this is like almost every person I see, you have like an inner tube around your body that's going from the front to the back. So your back is locked up at the same segment as the front, and it's like you're sitting in an inner tube and it's all stuck. Would that describe how you feel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when I have to get up and move from a cross-legged or being on the floor like that. I feel like an old lady getting up.
Yeah, yeah, and you're too young to feel that way. Did you guys talk about blow before you go and exhaling and all that?
Yeah,
Okay.
She knows blow before you go, right, Amanda? You know, yeah, I was gonna say she probably does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you don't want to drop your organs on the floor. Not that they'll fall off literally, but you know that's what.
So when she is moving her scar up like that, is she picking it up and moving it? Like she's picking it up or she's moving it?
Yeah, this thing where you should be able to pull your scar, this is the last step that you should be able to do. But hers is indented, so hers is like sucked in, so it won't even come up. So that's going to be the very last thing. You're not going to be able to do that right away. I would first work on just mobilizing it north, south, east, and west. Okay, so you're going to want to pull it up. And then down will probably not be as tight, but I would check both in the like north direction and the south direction. And your fingertips are just like along the scar, like kind of like if it's like a railroad track, you just want to be like going perpendicular to the railroad track. And then you would want to kind of pull it to one side, so you can lift it and then pull it to one direction and hold that, and then pick it up and hold it to the other direction. And so in doing that, you're going to free up the surface scar. The deeper scar is going to come later. You have to do layer by layer. Like you can't go get that deep layer first. It's just not, you'll make yourself, it'll hurt too much.
Right.
And then the other aspect is if it's hypersensitive, you may not even want to touch it. So have you touched your scar yet?
Yeah, and it does fine. Like I can.
Does it feel dead?
It varies. And when it starts to come back, like even after the C-section, is when I get the shooting pains because nerves are reconnecting and all that.
Yeah, and there's so inside all that fascia, there's nerves and there's blood vessels and all that. So you're getting nerve pain because the fascia has what's called nociceptors, which are pain fibers, and so your brain's getting this. You could just have pants on, and they could be, or something like underwear, and it's hitting you on that spot, and it could be registering in your brain as pain because it's tight. So I would work on that every day, like at least once a day, and maybe just take 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be long. But I was going to say if you had hypersensitivity, you could take different materials to it, like a wool sock or a cotton ball, but you're probably beyond that point. But if you feel like it's still dead, you might want to put different sensations on it to try to wake up those nerves, not to wake them up for pain, but to wake them up so that you can engage those muscles eventually. Okay. Makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
The other question I had is KT tape. I didn't know if she was one or no.
How many fingers width split is the diastasis?
The last time I checked was 6.
Okay. That's pretty wide. I would say, usually if someone's 2 or more, I would tape. I could kind of show you what to do, but there's a really good video that might be even more helpful that I can direct you guys to.
Okay.
I got to pull it up on my phone. Hold on a second.
And then, like, can you kind of explain the benefits of the KT tape compared to splinting or binding or things like that?
Yeah, so the KT tape, the latest research is that it is, when you tape your skin, you're taping your brain. So years ago, when I went to a KT class, we kind of didn't know why it was beneficial. And we used to take, like if someone had an ankle sprain, we used to immobilize everything. So we don't want to immobilize structures. We want to facilitate movement. So the tape allows normal movement, but it gives your brain a little bit of a sense of, oh, this is where it should be. So it's neuromuscular. It's like giving your brain the right feedback it needs to do the activity. So it also, they did a study, so think of a cake, like a layered cake. So imagine you have like a 7-layer cake and the layers are separated. What scar tissue does is it makes everything kind of stuck together. So the nice blood flow and nerves that went through that at one point are now compressed. And so the tape puts these little convolutions like that pull it up. So it separates the layers of fascia, and especially over the scar. So it helps with adhesions. Like an example is my daughter had menstrual cramps the other day, and I didn't have time to work on her. So I just put a big X over her uterus, and she was wonderful. She said it felt great. And then she took the tape off at school and she almost passed out because it was so painful. So it was like giving her that decompressive effect to separate those layers of fascia. So that's what it does. And then it tells your brain what muscles are supposed to work.
So, like, she has a splint and she has a binder that kind of helps her do some stuff. So, like, in your opinion, what do you think about, I know there's just so many different thoughts of binders and splints. And so, you know, with her wearing it, how often, since she has 6 fingers, and it, you know, maybe during exercise or she's exercising or.
So if you get the tape, you can ditch the binder. I like the tape better. I don't give people binders either. But I understand the concept of the binders because we always felt like we needed to give people some stability. Wait, hold on a second. I gotta text my therapist. So I like the tape because the tape is more facilitatory towards the brain, and it can stay on for 5 days. So it's there all the time. So when you're getting up out of bed, and it's not waterproof, but it's water resistant, so you can wear it in the shower. You just don't want to blow it dry because the adhesive on it is really sticky and it's heat activated. So you basically make like a basket weave over your belly. I'll grab my tape. I'll kind of show you how to do it here in a second. Do you want me to show you?
Sure. Or does the video show the same thing, or?
Yeah, I just have to find it. I have to find the link to this person's website, but it's up to you. How much time do we have?
We have about 25 minutes.
Okay. But how much do you want, Dancy? I don't want to take up all the time. I'm sorry.
Oh, Dancy's, I think Dancy's good, aren't you? Yeah, she's good.
You're good? Okay.
No, they've been talking, Nancy and her have been talking over email and stuff, so I think they're good.
Gotcha. Okay.
What else did I get? And as far as also the other questions I was going to ask for her, I mean, I'm just asking questions for you, if that's okay. Working out wise, doing, you know, what should she be doing because of this things that are going on? You know, squatting, lunging, or should she do like butt bridges? Because I have this workout program she has, but I don't want her to injure herself more. And she knows, you know, with my corrective exercise on proper technique, but she's got some malalignments going on that can cause her not to be able to do that. So, you know, sometimes maybe getting on the floor, I don't know, the butt bridges or even the leg slides that we do for the, you know, the diastasis.
Slides.
On stability ball, you can even lift one leg up and another leg up, you know, breathing. You know, I just want her to I don't want her to re-injure herself or anything.
Yeah, so my standard is avoid pain. So if you do something and you're getting clicking or popping, I call it a clunk in the front of the hip. That's usually the hip flexor trying to do the work instead of the abs activating. So you don't want to be on your back, you know, doing heel slides, and every time you do it, you hear a click or a pop that's deep in your hip. So if she can do it without a click or a pop, I would say that's okay. I would say the sitting on the ball lifting, I would avoid asymmetrical things right now. So anything anything split this way or that way. So like lunges wouldn't be, she can't stabilize right when both her legs are together probably because her pelvic alignment's off. So I would avoid lunging right now. And squats are fine as long as you're exhaling on the way up. And, you know, squats are great because both legs are doing the same thing at the same time.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
but lunges, no.
My lunges this week.
I'm sorry, what?
I was having trouble with my lunges this week, and I wasn't sure because I also have collapsing arches in my feet, and I just got new inserts. So I tend to have a little bit of instability anyway.
Yeah.
But that makes more sense because I just can't do it.
Yeah. Well, you have to be able to align your pelvis, and then your femur, which are your leg bones, go with your pelvis. So, and then if your pelvis isn't in the best position, everything's going to cave in and your knees are going to go in and then you're going to pronate. So yeah, I just think lunges are an advanced exercise. Like a lot of women that I talk to, they go into a boot camp and they end up doing like bleacher climbs, and they're like doing 2 stairs at a time, 3 stairs at a time. And their pelvis isn't stable enough to hold that position. So it's an advanced exercise. It's not where we should start.
So squats are really what she could be working on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and bridges are okay as long as they're not painful. But I would correct I would get your hips to open up first with that exercise I gave you, that sacral correction.
Okay.
So it sounds like we're solving a few of the issues that you have. Does it make sense to me? I mean, you're kind of classic for what I see when people have adhesions.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Like,
okay.
It all fits together.
Yep.
Okay. So she'll do the twisting exercise, the trigger points, the massaging, and then the KT tapes.
Yeah.
KT tapes. So, okay.
Yeah, I think for that big of a split, if it were me, that's what I would do, because that's going to hold you together better, and you're going to be like wowed by it because it's going to do the work for you, but it's going to pull on your nervous system or your fascia to tell your brain what to do. So that's the difference between that and a compressive wrap. It's actually telling the brain, it's reprogramming the neuromuscular control, which is ultimately what we're trying to do.
Yeah, because I can't wear the binder very often. It's usually like when I'm standing in the kitchen, or if I'm going on a long walk, I'll wear it because it tends to give me more energy to get through it, because my back's not having to do, like, it's a lot more work physically. And I find that I'm exhausted when I don't wear it.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll like the tape better because you can keep it on for 5 to maybe even 7 days. I've kept mine on for that long. And once you tape, you don't have to keep putting it on every day, you know, like it'll stay. And then after a few weeks, you won't need it anymore because your muscles will go, oh, I know what you're asking me to do. Okay. And while it's on, the appearance is going to be good too, because it's going to pull your belly back together. And you're going to like how that feels, which will be normal going forward.
Yeah. Now, I do have a very large hernia. I don't remember if I put that in the paperwork or not.
Is it at the umbilical? It's an umbilical hernia?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like literally my belly button is probably the size of a $50.
Okay. Yeah, so your fascia got disrupted, obviously. I mean, when they do your C-section, they take that rectus muscle and they pull it apart. Yeah. So your fascia has been compromised. So if this doesn't close back together, I mean, there might still be like a little bit of a bulge there, like your belly button might be an outie instead of an innie, but it's not necessary to surgically correct it unless these other things don't improve it. And most of the time this stuff works. So like you can avoid having something down the road, you know, if you correct it this way.
Yeah, they wanted me to do it 3 to 6 months after, and I'm like, I can't have another recovery.
Yeah. No more surgeries for you.
Oh,
Ever.
important.
You don't need any more surgeries. So.
Okay. So is there any more questions that you have, Amanda, from this?
I think that covered.
Okay. Okay. All right. Is that all you were going to go over, Janine? You think that's good? That hit it all?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to do this weekly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
check in with her.
yeah, and I would ask if you have any problems doing those exercises, contact Olivia, so I know and I can get in contact with you to modify. But anything that we do should help, not hurt. So don't push through it. I'm not a trainer that says like no pain, no gain. You know, in fact, pain is a stop. You know, don't push through that. So, but yeah, and the other thing, Olivia, so the 3 things we talked about, plus hips higher than the knees, and don't cross your legs either. Like if you're sitting, don't put one leg over the other, because your pelvis needs to be straight. So you want to sit, let's see if I can show you. So when you sit, you want, just pulled this out of my ear. You want your hips higher than your knees. So can you see where my knees are, or my legs? So when you sit, you don't want your knees up in your chest. So the worst thing you could do is like sit on your couch or like with an iPad or a laptop or something and have your knees up in your chest. So you want that angle in your legs to always be 90 degrees or greater, which is why you want your hips higher than your knees. And then if you sit, you want your feet flat on the ground or cross at your ankles like they did years ago when ladies used to wear skirts. But not at your, or sit like a man. Like I sit sometimes like this. So can you see my leg? So I don't cross my legs like that. I sit with it open, or I just sit with both hips straight, and I don't like push. I don't go into a ball and get my knees up underneath me anymore. But when you have adhesions and that tendency towards everything being so tight, you're going to want to go fetal. So try to avoid those positions as much as you can. Just because they're your positions of comfort, they probably feel good, but they're not helping you in the long run.
Yeah, they do feel comfortable. They can feel comfortable, can't they?
Yeah.
Okay. Nancy, is there anything you needed to go over with real quick, or are y'all good? Here, I can unmute you if you can't figure it out. Okay. Wait. No.
I got it.
Okay.
No, I don't have anything to say, but I learned a lot.
Okay.
We're going to all learn from each other.
Yes. Okay. I know she's been copying me back and forth on the nutrition, and I just think it sounds great. So do you have questions, Amanda, while Nancy's here?
No.
Big
I
email.
was trying to remember. I thought I did this morning, and now I can't remember.
Okay.
Gee, I wonder why not.
Yeah.
Too much going in.
Yeah, no.
I sent her a really big email. I'm like, I'm sorry if I overwhelm you.
No, I love it. My husband and I love to research and do our own work too. So.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I was going to ask.
Hi,
Sprouted bread. The sprouted and Ezekiel bread. I don't think I'm remembering all these allergies that come up. I had a blood test allergy test done years ago. And barley was one of the things. So I do the sprouted bread, but very rarely. I was going to ask about the sourdough, like an actual homemade sourdough.
That's really gentle on your stomach.
Okay.
It's really gentle on your gut, the sourdough.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, that would be another option.
Okay.
I would have to get the brand.
I'm going to have to start doing that because I make my own bread for the boys. We grind we do everything, so.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think sourdough is very gentle. Like it's not gonna be like the big whole grains and so
Oh, Dancy cut out. I don't know what happened. There you go.
sorry.
Wait,
My mom called.
your mom called? Okay. Yeah, so I know that Amanda does Trim Healthy Mama, but they talk about sourdough all the time.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, it's different with the Trim Healthy Mama and the deep bloat because I'm so used to separating my fuel, my
Yeah.
fats from my carbs, and like so I'm trying to wrap my mind around how to do it all differently now. At
Yeah.
least for this healing, and it's really hard to retrain it.
Yeah.
Now, is it really though, like, are you doing, but you're not doing a lot of fats on the deep-bloat, so you're kind of staying away from some of those. So I think that the deep-bloat honestly is going to be more fuel pulls.
That's what I was noticing. That's what I was kind of thinking about as I was doing. And then, because I looked at the menu or the meal ideas from the links that you sent me this morning, Dancy, and then, so yeah, I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do some big salads for lunch and dinner. And I think I was stuck on breakfast, but I think I can get that worked out.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, lots of protein.
But without the starches, that really,
That's hard.
it is because Trim Healthy Mama 2 drills everything's protein centered. So it's trying to figure out how to do it differently. It's taking more brain power than I'm.
Yes, thinking about it. It'll take time. You don't have to get everything all ready for tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm such the perfectionist, so I have to like set a goal and like, so I was gonna sit down. I had to get my budget done this morning so I could figure out and plan the meals and just sort it all out. And then, because I think I can do whatever I make my kids, I think for the most part I can put it over a salad and be okay.
I only have one.
Yeah.
As long as I can figure that one out.
Yeah. That's why I thought fuel pull might be better for your brain.
Yeah.
And that's what I was telling Dancy because she doesn't really know Trim Healthy Mama, so I was trying to break it down for her real fast. And so I think maybe fuel pull will be better for you in your brain.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, I think so because it is just like that 1 to 2 ounces of a little bit of fat for the dressing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just that little bit.
Yeah.
That makes way more sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because that's where I was going this morning and going, this is the only way I can think to do this. And I did this, like as I've been plugging in my food, I've noticed that I've eaten my normal diet, but I'm actually coming like short of what it says for my daily calorie intake. And I was really shocked by that, especially because I've had a lot of satisfying or higher fat meals. So that was shocking. Like yesterday was a battle to get up to where I got to, which was like 1,000 or 1,200, but I never really felt hungry.
Yeah, I noticed you were short on the calories. I wanted to ask you if you felt hungry, if you were trying to, but you looked like you had great meals.
Yeah, no, they were filling. The only time I felt hungry was after the apple. Like I said, that was the only time.
It's hard when you eat healthy. You actually can eat like all day long because there's so little in calories, but yet so nutrient dense.
Yeah. Well, I'm reading the detox this morning. I'm like, oh, I do all those things. That's easy. Like that pepper salad.
Oh yeah.
Is my newest favorite salad. The Freshie Bowl. It's bell peppers and ginger and apple cider vinegar and MCT oil.
It
my
looked
favorite
very
thing. Yeah, it makes a big bowl so you can stick it in the fridge and throw it on a side for any meal.
awesome. I know I need to get some ideas from you. Your meals look great.
Yeah, Dancy said she eats great. I'm so impressed with her.
Yes.
Being on the program again is making me redo lunch. Because lunch is my time that I hate. I hate it for my kids. I hate it for me. I'm tired and I'm bored. I'm like, I just don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
What I'm gonna do, if everybody's done, I will send you, like, I have this recorded. So if you need it to just kind of go over it again, you'll have that, and I'll just write you a list of, you know, kind of what she said, so you just have it down in your brain, you know, what you have to do. Yeah, but if you have, are you good?
I think so.
Okay, so I don't want you to be overwhelmed with too much.
No. It definitely answers questions. I like knowing how my body is working, and that makes a lot of sense. What you said, Denise, like that makes sense in my brain.
Okay, cool.
There's always a reason.
Yeah.
And
There
that's
is.
not the reason I thought. So that, you know, that helps.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, are y'all all done? Janine,
Yeah.
you're good, Nancy? Okay. All right, Amanda. Well, you know, just we keep talking back and forth, so we'll just keep doing that. Okie dokie. All right. Bye, y'all.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Have a great day.